Let's go to work, 'cause I'm tripping. Gotta work on myself, 'cause I'm falling apart. Please wake me up, 'cause I'm slipping. Can't fight this feeling off no more. But I'm not going to give up and fall. Rise above the door, meet all my challenges and search for my strength. I defeat them all. I'm never ever gonna hide no more. I come to love myself again. Yeah. For all the things I didn't know, the pain, the hurt, I let it go. Start to believe in myself, and life will be sweet again. So sweet again. Above it all, beat all my challenges and search for my strength. I defeat them all. I never ever gonna hide no more. I come to love myself again. For all the things I didn't know, the pain, the hurt, I let it go. Let it go. And I start to believe in myself, and life will be sweet again.
Nuts? I just ran into the other room. I'm like, oh my God, we're not on Rockfin. We gotta stop the show. We gotta be on Rockfin. We gotta be. And we are. It's a false alarm. But I appreciate the heads up. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday. I'm not muted. There you go. So everyone who placed their bets, I'd be muted. You might still win. It could still happen. So I have a show about the soul, and I was not able to complete it for today. Busy weekend though, trying to get that ready. And but I read something this morning over coffee, and I was like, "What the world is this?" And I thought I would share. So this is me sharing that. If you're looking for a, this is me. Whatever, man. Whatever. If you like it, watch the show. If you don't watch the show, right? You can do any of those things. But the case that I bring before you today is, hang on a second, I'm getting ready to get there. Where did OBS go? Okay. Yes, the case that I'm going over today is a Supreme Court case of Bruesewitz. I'm not sure I'm not pronouncing this correctly. Versus Wyeth. And holy smokerinos. Let me get it pulled up here for you. Wikipedia. We'll go to the most accepted name in sheep, as far as like people believing things. I actually appreciate what they do there. I don't need Wikipedia to be real. I just need there to be a place where most people tend to agree on stuff. Sorry, I gotta figure out how to spell this name. This is a tough one. And this is why I don't have it prepped up for you, because man, this stuff on the soul is pretty cool. It's like a history of the soul. I should stop talking about it. It's almost there though. I'm getting there. Here we go. Oh, Bruesewitz versus Wyeth, and then we'll go to slides here, and then we'll activate this page for you, and we'll start looking at this thing. Bruesewitz, Bruesewitz, and Wyeth. If you guys have heard about this, feel free to make fun of me in the chat for never hearing of this. Is the first time I've ever heard of this. I couldn't believe this. United States. Wait a minute, James. Are you still sharing correctly? Yes. No, that's the thread. Sorry. Let me get you back on the right page here. Don't show everybody your inbox. Here's a Wikipedia. Nope, that's not it. It's the page that says all this stuff right here that I have pulled up. It says Bruesewitz and Wyeth. Why can't you share that one? Bruesewitz and Wyeth. It's Chrome, Bruesewitz and Wyeth. There you go. United States Supreme Court case that decided whether... Wait a minute. Am I actually showing this? Yeah. I'll go full screen. I just can't read this type. It's too small. And I've lost the... Oh my goodness, what have I done? Hang on a second, guys. I've really screwed up here. Something has happened to my screen. Okay, sorry about that. Bruesewitz and Wyeth, United States Supreme Court case that decided whether a section of the Vaccine Act of 1986 preempts all vaccine design defect claims against vaccine manufacturer. Let's look up what preempts means, because that's kind of a tricky word, right? In the law, federal preemption is the invalidation of a U.S. state that conflicts with federal law. Okay? Whether a section of the Vaccine Act preempts all vaccine-defined defect claims against the vaccine manufacturer. Okay? So it's preeminently preempts all vaccine design defect claims against the vaccine manufacturer. Hannah Bruesewitz, the daughter of the main petitioners in the case, received Wyeth's... I'm sorry, I cannot read this. I'm having some trouble with my eyes this morning, which happens when I spend all weekend reading, to be honest with you. I just can't read right now. Hang on. Okay. Hannah, the daughter of the main petitioner in the case, received Wyeth triamcinolone DTP vaccine as a part of the child immunization. Bruesewitz claimed that Hannah's seizures and later developmental problems came from the vaccine. They filed suit in the vaccine court, a special court within the United States Court of Federal Claims. Their petition was dismissed for failure to prove a link between the vaccine and Hannah's health problems, of course. They proceeded to sue in Pennsylvania State Court. The case was removed to the local federal court, which held that the claim was preempted by a section of the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed. So, a petition for the writ of certiorari was granted March 8th, bringing the case to the Supreme Court, and briefing before the court, both sides argued over the specific language of the statutory provision. Now, here's the decision. The case was decided on February 22nd, 2011. The court, in a 6-2 opinion by Justice Scalia, held that the plaintiff's design defect claims were expressly preempted by the Vaccine Act. Thus, the court affirmed laws that vaccine manufacturers are not liable for vaccine-induced injury or death if they are accompanied by proper directions and warnings. So in case there was too much dribble there, I just want you to hear this one sentence. Thus, the court affirmed Thus, the court affirmed laws that vaccine manufacturers are not liable for vaccine-induced injury or death if they are accompanied by proper directions and warnings. And that is a huge thing to say. Because what that really says is anybody can be maimed, sterilized, hurt, destroyed, anything from any of these vaccines. And it is only wrong if it is not mentioned in the insert. That would be the only case where you could do something like that. And as the thumbnail of today's show demonstrates, the inserts were blank. The inserts were blank. That the vaccine inserts that you, I got to get this picture up. That you were given had no insert inside them, A, and more importantly, B, that those inserts were directly pointing to this law, and how this law allows anything basically to be put into these things. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to actually say this word, right? That anything can be placed into these things as long as it is written down first. Man, I gotta show you this picture, and I can't do that. It's so funny. I need to show you the thumbnail of this live stream, and to show you the thumbnail of this live stream is like really, really hard. I have to convert it from one operating system into another, and then send it through a giant third party like Google in order to see it on this computer. It's amazingly complicated. Reply, attach. And this always struck me as odd. I made a video about it, about the inserts itself. I just thought that was profound, that we were allowing people to get away with that. Inside of each of these vaccines, again, is a giant sheet of paper that's folded trillion times. And in the center of all of those folds, it says this space intentionally left blank. And if you try and point that out to the fact checkers, they will tell you that that's not true. They will say that's not true. That's a falsified conspiracy theory. That's what they tell you. They will tell you that. How do I know this? Because Instagram told me, and I think I might have been on Facebook at the time before they removed me. They told me too. They told me that me reporting on this was false. And the reason why they told me it was false is because underneath where it says this space intentionally blank in teeny tiny letters was a website URL address, which means that anyone who has a vaccine is required to have the ability to read fine print, A, B, access to the worldwide internet, C, the ability to read and understand and follow the protocols of an HTTP address. And that there became a new threshold, a new requirement for even determining what was allowed to be written on there. And I tried it, Married Moth. I tried vinegar. There was no invisible ink on there. No, what it said is hey, we're going to tell you shit about this thing. And we want you to stick it inside you. That's really what it said. And I find that interesting because the very case that indemnifies these manufacturers says that the only reason why you're allowed to be indemnified is because you place it on the sheet first, which is really does start to show why these Sorry. Oh, come on, James. It really does get to show you why these things are so prolific, meaning cancel. You can do it, James. You can do it. This isn't that hard. Twitter, retweet. Yeah. Which is exactly why you see, there we go. Oh, this many pages, this many problems. This is later added to these things. And everything that you see in blue is autoimmune. And autoimmune is just blowing this place up. Most of the problems that we have are from the autoimmune system. Now, I can't even tell you this. I can't even spread these things. I can't give you this information. And I wanted someone to know that 6% of Pfizer side effects are irreversible autoimmune disorders. And I wasn't lying. This is 6%. This is just 6% of them. Irreversible autoimmune diseases. But it's okay because they're in the insert. It's okay. And no, I haven't wired my microphone or oiled it. I think I'll probably just stop because I can do videos and not have to try and make sure that my microphone is wired, that it's oiled properly, that the lighting, I know many have said that the lighting makes me look bad, all that other stuff. I get it. We're fixing it. And I don't know how to keep this thing oiled though, because if I oil the microphone, it falls. That's the point of oil. So I get that many of us like to think about farting, and I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you except for maybe this isn't the right format. But until then, this space is intentionally left blank. And it's intentionally left blank, I think, for some profound reasons that a lot of us are having issues really coming to terms and grips with. It's very much like the schools. Why are we sending children back to a place that even has shooter drills? Why are we doing that? Like, seriously, what is the point of that? Are we saying that it's wrong that there are people shooting people, but it's not wrong that we would voluntarily send our children to a place that has active shooting drills? Why is one okay and one not okay? And you're looking at the conglomerate of the egregore and our insistence that it's okay. When the Georgia Guidestones went down, one of the things that was on those Guidestones was protecting diversity. And True Steam Media did a bit about it, and the guy was like, promote diversity, that sounds really good. And, that was a great video, by the way. But promote diversity has never been good. That's never been good. Because the only way you can promote diversity is to create a singular, ocular, Sauron-type power center, which has the authority to dictate and promote diversity, which means that you will end up with a one world government definition of diversity, which is a singular, a quickening definition. It's not a multiplex definition, which is the antithesis of diversity. So to even have the phrase promote diversity is to get into this shady kind of territory that so many of us fall for over and over again. It's the Pied Piper of psychosis. Why is it psychosis and not psychology? Because it's a Pied Piper that's suggesting that we do not live in a world that has predator in it. So therefore we will cling to and adopt language like promote diversity. If you lived in a world with predator, you would instantly have the hairs on the back of your neck stand up at the term promote diversity. You would instantly go, what the fuck? Wait a minute. Why are you making a law promoting diversity? What the fuck is wrong with you? Who among us has been destroying diversity with the exception of you? And the only people that ask that question, that have that thought about it, are the people that know that they're living inside nature with predator. And the very last commandment on the Georgia Guidestones was written twice, and it said, leave room for nature. It said that twice. Leaving room for nature. Excuse me. And leave room for nature sounds great. It does. If you're not living in the world of predator, if you believe that, hey, as long as it's on the insert, then everything's on the up and up. As long as, hey, come on. This guy's like Sanjay or something. He's like a really good dude because he's wearing a uniform. A guy dressed up like a pirate is telling you to stick something in your arm, and he's not writing down a single fucking thing about what's inside it. And we live in a society that's been sending its kids to shooting drills every morning, so why in the world would this be a problem now? Why in the world would this be a problem now? So what is the deal, James? Why you got a beef with leaving room for nature? Because if you have written on a stone where the very lead sentence is, maintain a population where 88% of everyone that's around you now has to die, that the very last statement that says, do not be a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, implies and insinuates that you are something that stops the rheumatism of nature. That you, your very essence itself, is something that preoccupies and trespasses on the ability for nature to do something, which is that same belief that you do not live in a world of predator because that's nature. You live in a magical, happy world where as long as someone fucking decrees it, and as long as it's listed or not listed, everything's on the up and up. Everything's legit. And so the young mind falls for the shooting drill of believing the psychology that they are not nature, which turns it into a psychosis because we send our kids in yellow shipping containers back to shooting drills every fucking day. Every day. And we've normalized and caramelized this idea, and we call it America. And even as you're watching the reports of the Georgia Guidestones and how the news covers it, not once does any news organization mention the fact that the very first line is threatening the life of 88% of the people on the planet. And why do they not see that? Because man is not inside of nature. Only things that are inside of nature suffer from threat. If you're outside of nature, you are meta-threat. You do not live in the same world. You are not limited to the same diversity of threat even. Because we have shooting drills. We have insurance. We have concepts of immortality that we can offer you off the shelf, which promise you that even if something bad happens to you while you're here, that you will be granted eternal life, salvation. And we are worshiping the insurance policy. And the only way we can worship the insurance policy is to indemnify, to preempt that if anything happens bad to you, it's totally okay. You know why it's okay? Because there's an insert. Or because there's not an insert. It doesn't even matter if it's written down. Very much like the Native Americans. Hey, we're legit. We only came into the South and destroyed the Powhatan, the Creek, the Muskogee to save the slaves. Why? Because it's in our Bill of Rights. Look at our Bill of Rights. And it's important for us to liberate all of you with Sherman. We're going to burn your house down because you need to be liberated. You need to be liberated. And that leads you into this clown show now. Pirates, normal, not normal, people dressing up like pirates, declaring a war on health information. That's not even an exaggeration. This man declared a war on health information. He said it twice. And disgusted sounds harsh, but I'm a little bit turned off by the fact that people thought that I edited that in this video I'm about to show you. That people thought, James must have edited that part out where he said health information, because no one in their right mind would support a government that has a dude dressed up like a pirate that actually is declaring a war on health information. What are you, nuts? No one would ever do that. Who in the world would have a war on health information, right? But we do. We do, and we have, and we will, because the vaccine insert says that it's okay. It says that. See if I can get this movie to show up. Well, no. There we go. Let's have a quick little reminder about what happened here.
Peter McCullough, and I'm an internist and cardiologist and professor of medicine at Texas A&M University School of Medicine. I'm on the Baylor Dallas campus. I'm the most published person in my field, which deals with the heart and the kidneys in the world in history.
Today, I issued a Surgeon General's advisory on the dangers of health misinformation. Health misinformation is false, inaccurate, or misleading information about health, according to the best evidence at the time. The truth is that misinformation takes away our freedom to make informed decisions about our health and the health of our loved ones. We're asking them to consistently take action against misinformation super spreaders on their platforms.
Scanning. School, I was talking to her about it. She said, well, why don't you make a YouTube video? So I made a YouTube video with 4 slides from the paper. This is a peer-reviewed paper published in one of the best medical journals in the world. And within about a week, YouTube said, you violated the terms of the community.
Simply put, health information has cost us lives.
Important scientific information to help patients in the middle of this crisis, and social media is striking it down.
Target locked.
I became the lead witness for the U.S. Senate testimony of November 19, 2020. And the reason why there was Senate testimony is because there was a near total block on any information of treatment to patients.
As we say in the advisory, if you're not sure, don't share. We're asking researchers and foundations as well to help us learn more about how health information spreads and how to stop it.
The 2 papers that I have published as the lead author and supported by wonderful people by Dr. Urso are the only publications in the peer-reviewed literature that tell doctors how to treat COVID-19 as an outpatient based on the support of scientific information. The only 2.
Second, we're asking health organizations to proactively address misinformation with their patients.
Patients actually think that the virus is untreatable.
Now, we need an all-of-society approach to fight misinformation, and that's why
a package insert.
Today.
There's a lot of safety and efficacy data. In fact, all of the
about whatever you're putting into your body.
find in a package insert, like the ingredients, that would all be found right here in the package insert.
Something written inside of the package insert. This is stupid.
It's all blank. The whole thing.
It's your choice. I'm not saying whether
Except
I've
for
been
this part.
vaccinated or not. I'm telling you, this is why
That's the
people
only thing not blank.
hesitate to get the vaccine.
Are you kidding me?
Fourth, we are saying we expect more from our technology companies. We're asking them to monitor misinformation more closely. I'm encouraged to see this commitment. And again, this is just the beginning.
And so what happens is they go out to get a diagnosis. Now, I'm a COVID survivor. My wife in the galley is a COVID survivor. My father in a nursing home is a COVID survivor. You get handed a diagnostic test. It says, here, you're COVID positive. Go home.
On a personal note, it's painful for me to know that nearly every death we are seeing now from COVID-19 could have been prevented.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
I'm pleased to introduce
Oh,
Dr.
wait,
Rachel
sorry.
Levine,
Hang on a second.
former Secretary.
I got it, sorry. All right, there you go. There you go, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the war on health information. He said twice, health information has cost lives. It's cost lives. And it's all legit as long as you have the insert. Or don't have the insert, whichever. And this is what the psychosis looks like when you're not living inside nature. I hope that makes sense. That there's a cost of living in the palisade, right? What is a palisade? A palisade is when you take living trees and cut them down, chop their roots off, chop their branches off, remove their abilities to breathe, and take their carcass and dig a hole and shove the dead tree into a hole and make the space between each tree narrow enough to where your attacker will not invade you. That's the definition of palisade. And when you start to look at what a fort truly is, what does a fort do but create an outer barrier of death, of nature that's dead? Do you see how that works? The palisade is a circle of dead nature that's buried above ground and below ground. So it's symbolically, right? It hits on both planes, above ground and below ground. And now you've created a barrier from nature, a bubble. And inside the bubble, you can inject a psychosis which says that nature does not exist. That we are not nature, I should say. Not that nature does not exist, but that we are not nature. That's what that means, to have that palisade that's surrounding. And sometimes nature comes into the palisade and everyone's upset. But that's okay because there's insurance. We have vaccines to survive this, right? We have all of the insurance indemnity programs of the most advanced civilizations in the world are here at your disposal to help you. It's universal health care. It's the same thing. Universal health insurance. What does that really mean? Health insurance. We are ensuring that we will provide you with health. This is the exact same promise of saying we will ensure you that we will provide you with diversity. It's the exact same thing. We will ensure that we will provide you with public safety. Oh, that's the worst, right? Public safety. This is why it's a psychosis. And the only reason why this would work is if you were inside a palisade of dead trees. Your house, most of the time, is made out of gypsum salt. Drywall is gypsum salt. And salt is the memoried earth. It's a petrified soil is what salt is. And there's something stored in that salt, which is the tears or the memory or the excretion of something that already happened, which means that salt itself is this dead, crystallized memory of something that was alive. And I don't mean dead in a disparaging way. If you are sold on being inside the palisade, you think death is bad. You think that's a bad word. But if you're living outside the palisade, you don't even have the connotation that dead carries with you. You might even call it westing. You might even have a really excited, fascinated look about it, but not inside the palisade, because there's inserts inside. That's why inside the palisade there were rules. When the very first palisades were begun, the rules were you cannot grow your hair long. You cannot go out into nature and thrive and prosper and then come back into the palisade and tell us how thriving and prosperous it is outside the palisade. That was an actual rule. There were guards at the palisade gate. And you and I, because we were shipped on a yellow shipping container, are taken to a shooting drill facility where in between the shooting drills we were taught fucking stories. We're told that the reason why the palisade had a guard at the gate was to stop nature from coming in. And the entire time, when you look at the historical record, when you look at Roanoke, when you look at Jamestown, when you look at literally 35% of what Benjamin Franklin even wrote down about the Indians, you realize, holy shit, those guards were not there keeping nature out. They were there keeping everyone inside the palisade in. And this is the meaning of the wall. This is the meaning of Trump building a wall. The exact same psychosis of everything will be all right. All we need to do is kill things and create a barrier or a circle, and everyone inside the circle of things that have been killed will be civilized, and everyone outside the circle of things will not be. And it creates this profound psychosis, doesn't it? And the psychosis is decorated. The psychosis is carried through the streets on stilts, in a lounge chair. It's dressed like the hedonist, the psychosis is. It's anointed with the oil from our hair that we chopped off because we're inside the palisade. It's anointed with our worship. It's anointed with our promotion as the authority of diversity for us. And that we're petting this psychosis as it wanders through the village on this platform. And we throw flowers at it and beads. We show it our tits. We do whatever it is to make sure that the psychosis is king. The psychosis is the consort of consensus, right? It's the consort. And only inside the palisade could consensus even sit long enough to congeal. And outside the palisade, consensus dissolves into nature itself, where there is no central place, where there is no insurance, where there is no insert, and where there is no law explaining just how innocent the government would be. 1986, the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. That whether you want to admit it or not, whether you have the nature for it or not, the Georgia Guidestones were telling you what's been happening the whole time. That there are people inside the palisade that have determined that the way to make the palisade better is to kill 88% of the people inside. And that the entire time this process is completely natural. And that if we'd all been living outside the palisade, we wouldn't have this problem. Do you know why? Because no one would know how many people there were. Nobody would know. Nor would there be an authority to make bullshit guesses about it either, right? There'd be no concept of it. Because none of us would zetetically be able to experience the totality of existence all around of us. And any kind of cries for environmentalism would simply be exercised at home, locally. They're telling you 88% of the people needed to die, and not once has any of them said, hey, why don't we stop printing receipts? Why don't we create a regulation that makes it harder for a store to want to give you a sheet of fucking dead tree that's been bleached? That instead of us trying something as simple as that, where the only people that would disagree is some super uptight accountant that has an investment in these purple collapsible accordion file folders for his receipts, that lobby would certainly put up a good fight, and that you and I are deciding that the coupon accordion receipt library coalition is too powerful, and that the coalition of, hey, let's not kill 88% of the fucking people on the planet doesn't have the lobbying power to compete with the receipt people, the accordion receipt people. And so instead of us trying something as simple as, hey, let's stop printing receipts, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the National Child Safety Vaccine Act. And we're going to go ahead and launch right into this experimental drug that is so unknown to us that we can't even write what's on the fucking insert, because that makes more sense inside the Palisade. Do you know why? Because we've been greasing this psychosis like a pig. And we haven't just put lipstick on the pig's lips. No, we've put it on the pig's asshole. And we're parading this around like a two-headed pig, saying this is the most glorious pig we've ever seen. My God, the Palisades is so beautiful. Look at how wonderful it is here. This guy said, health information has cost us lives. And he said it twice. And I'm tired of people giving an excuse like, oh, well, it's sometimes you just make a mistake. The dude's only job is to fucking sit in front of a camera and communicate with you. That's his only job. Stop saying he made a mistake. Stop telling me the people inside the Palisades are not sucking the schlong and licking the sphincter of this lipsticked psychosis, because that is what is happening. And we've justified it all because we have a Supreme Court case. And the entire case was argued over the fact that Hannah wasn't able to produce a fact that, hey, just because you had seizures now after the vaccine, and just because you didn't have seizures before the vaccine doesn't mean that there's a correlation. There's no way these things could be causally related. Don't you see? We know everything about this vaccine. Don't you see? We dressed up someone like a fucking pirate. And he told you about it. And you know what? He's really working on promoting diversity. He's really dedicated to that. Pro tip, the goal of promote diversity means an exclusive entity must rule over everything in order to enforce a singular definition of the word diverse. Pro tip, the same stone that leads with only 500 million people should ever be here should have more scrutiny placed on the sentences that come after it, not less. And when the stone says, avoid all petty laws and politicians, I need you to get your lips off that pig's ass and stop telling me that doesn't sound so bad. Because the only way you're going to eliminate petty laws is to create very super powerful controlling laws, and then make one of them, we will eliminate all petty laws. Stop thinking that inside the Palisades is valid. Stop looking for the insert. It's not there. Insurance has never been real. And as you and me are surrounded by people begging for the government to give them, demanding that the government give them health insurance, only you and I know what that really means. That it's the same thing as saying you must promote diversity. It's the same thing as saying you must make room for nature. The truth is always in the room. And we have never once, ever stopped throwing our children into this giant bronze burning ball. Never. Never. And what happens is we learn to decorate the psychosis. That's all that changes. Is we learn to decorate the psychosis differently. I think it might have been, someone correct me, prune my lips in chat. I think that Alex Jones said this is not the way. Talking about destroying the Georgia Guidestones, that I think he wrote, this is not the way. And I think inside the Palisades, that would make the most sense. And it sounds like the same mentality of 2 steps forward, wait 15 minutes. 2 steps forward, wait 15 minutes. That you're dealing with that, and you're listening to someone like Alex Jones tell you, this is not the way. The same way those people were freezing their ass off in Ottawa and saying, hey, y'all, they keep doing 2 steps forward and then they wait 15 minutes. But we can't fight back because this is not the way. And people are telling you that the way is an anti-way. That the way is to not do this. And the way will never be what you should not do. That's not it. You don't get to, there are too many choices in the world to assume that that's how you come up to a situation. That before any of us should accept the term, this is not the way, that person needs to have a, this is the way. This is the way. This is the way. That's the only way that you could really make a point that this is not the way. Because what this is not the way really deep down means is this is fine. This is fine. I've been ensured this is going to be okay. It's a democracy. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You know what? We should have gun laws. That's what we should do. And no one inside the Palisade is discussing the fact that any of us can print our own weapon right now. Any of us. So why are we even having debates? Why are we even pretending that this is a logical debate to even have? Because the tenet of that debate is, inside the Palisade, if we remove all anyone's ability to buy a gun, then no one would ever create a gun. Because as we all know, that before guns were invented, no one had them until someone sold them. And that it was the very first time a gun was sold. Of course, as you all know, the famous Winchester was put on a blue light special in what formerly was came to be known as Kmart. And that it wasn't before that blue light special that a gun had ever been invented ever. Because commerce is the birth of all invention. And all invention that would ever happen would have to come through a commercial sale that has a fucking printed insert that you and I call a receipt. And that receipt tells you very clearly, but you pay taxes on this, which means it's been insured. And we've insured it for diversity. We've insured it for proper health information. We've ensured that everything is moral and on the up and up. That if you're going to buy something, it means ex facto, everything you do with it is now moral. That's what we have right now. That's where we're living. It's welcome to the machine. Welcome to the Palisade was the first machine. The Powhatan knew Pink Floyd before Pink Floyd even got here. Right? Welcome to the machine. And you know, we should analyze that song because a lot of people think that that song is actually telling you how awful everything is. And it certainly has some scary things. What's scary about it is that you suffer from the death of free will. That's what Welcome to the Machine does. That song is telling you that your free will never existed. And why is it telling you that? Because it's all right. It's all right. You bought a guitar to punish your mom. You didn't like school. You know you're nobody's fool, right? That it's empathizing with you. It's telling you we know exactly how you feel. And then it tells you, dude, we know it all. All of these possibilities are built into the Palisade of what we created. That the insurance congealing this place, it's not a star fort at all, is it? Quite the opposite. It's a pit. It's a pit full of dead things. And the reason why you're there is because of the insurance of it all. It's insurance that you're in love with. And insurance would be the crutch for someone who's afraid to live. Health insurance, laws, police, government, military, all of these are insurance in drag. And all of these are lipstick on a pig. Surrounding every orifice, the nostrils, lipstick. The ears, lipstick. Every single hole in that pig has lipstick on it. And all of them are just different holes that we think are the palisade of this insurance. Blends us all. Pink Floyd chucked in you on Ukraine. Make sure I wasn't wrong about Alex Jones. Actually, you guys probably don't even know what he said, so hats off to you. So I don't see anything yay or nay on that. I should get rock for note on this one too. So yeah, that's probably a show. I guess I've been talking a while, but I hope you guys have a beautiful Monday, and I'm looking forward to showing you this show on the soul too. I think it's pretty cool. Beginning of this pandemic, I tried to tell my friends about the wall keeping people in, and they were all like, "But we need a secure border." Exactly, Angela. I felt the same thing. Coming out of the right, just because you have to come out one side doesn't really matter. I saw the same thing with Trump, and I was like, guys, why do we need a wall? It's like, because the immigrants are getting in. It's like, yeah, but like I've met like a lot of them, and why are they the problem? 'Cause, James, there's babies in incubators, and if they're not in incubators, there's babies in shipping containers. I'm like, you mean like yellow shipping containers? Well, no, most of them are like green, probably, and blue. Evergreen, yeah, they say evergreen, James. They say evergreen. I'm like, wow. Right? And they just kept insisting, man, make that wall, build it. And we're sitting here saying, well, politics is so fucked, but politics is effective. Politics is doing what it said it should do. The fact is that there's a Palisades here. The fact is that people built their lives based on the insurance of that Palisades, and the only way the Palisades is going to stay together, if you want to be in charge of this Palisades, is to come out and say, I will help insure what you've been insured with. I will help do that. Right? By the way, I just need to take a quick moment to give a shout out to Raina's Pig, who might be listening. No offense at all was meant in the live stream of this episode. No offense was put unto you or your person in any way. It's just an expression. And meanwhile, those of you who have a pet hyena, I still think you're wrong. Hyenas are fucking gross, dude. And that's probably it for now. You guys have a great day. Wednesday night is a full moon, a super moon. We're having a Dojo Worth radio show. It will be after Dojo Wednesday night, so hope you guys can join us for that. And if you want to be on that Roundtree panel, you will see that link somewhere, either if not in the Telegram group run by Sark, but also in the Patreon or on JTrue and things like that. We've also added memberships to YouTube, and we've got 5 members in there, which is pretty cool. You guys already have a movie in there that no one else has ever seen, so that's there for you by becoming a member of that. But also, I think if not this Wednesday, definitely in the future, a lot of these events will be posted in that YouTube membership thing, so you can check it out there too. So there you go. Thanks for being here, all. Hope you have a great Monday, and look forward to showing you this show on the soul too. If that's ready by Wednesday, that'll be happening then. And yeah, have a great day. Remember the Alamo, and watch out for those inserts out there, right? Gotta watch out for them crazy inserts.
Turn the lights up, breathing in the
just a quick note here. I prefer streaming on my porch with it's like a station. I know you can't see where I'm pointing, but I prefer streaming there. And the window's open. I'm right next to the birds and the squirrels, and I got the stained glass behind me. I actually prefer that. The reason why I come back to the desk is because in the winter, I need someplace that's not freezing. When I open that window, it stays cold for like 4 hours until the heat can build up. And so I really need 2 stations. And when I move the station, it takes about a day and a half to like rewire it all to get it to work. And microphones, I basically need 2 stations. And I'm saving up as much as I can to get this other. All I need now is what's called an ATEM Mini. It's just an HDMI switcher, and the reason why I need that is because if I had that, I could show you slides and be on the front porch at the same time. Right now, I can't actually show you slides and be on the front porch. I wanted to stream today from the front porch, but I really wanted to show you the Wikipedia article too. And you saw how long it took me because that's how much prep you have to even have the slides ready. So, just want you to know, I'd love to be back on that station, but I can't keep spending all those days unwiring and rewiring everything back together until I get another one of these ATEM Minis. The ATEM Mini is about $400. I'm not asking them to give me money. I'm just letting you know that that's the only reason why. That's it. And I'd rather have better lighting. I'd rather have better everything. I want the show to be as great as it can be. As respectful as I can say this, YouTube gave me $117 for live streaming 3 times a week, 5 weeks during the month of May as an example. That's it. Even the videos that aren't like removed or I'm not thrown off, they're just demonetized. So there's just zero money there. The only reason why you're seeing me on here is because of the people that have joined via Rockfin or the people that are on Patreon. It's the only reason why I'm able to even do this. I love doing what I'm doing. I wish I had more calories to put into it, i.e. budget too, to put into it. I'm happy to do it the way it is. I'm certainly not complaining at all, but if you don't want my microphone to fart, if you hate how the lighting lights me, if you want me to get a better haircut or change my wardrobe or whatever, all those things, I agree. And I think you'd like me better if I was streaming up front. But for me to show you slides, I have to get another one of these frickin' ATEM Minis. And if you want to join Patreon, please join Patreon. It really helps a lot. That's really the only reason why this show's online. You can join, give however much you want. That's what determines whether or not I can do this. I love what I do. It doesn't pay well, but it pays enough to where I feel like I'm sustained from it and I can do what I want to do, but I can't do a lot more. One of those things is have equipment like that. So anyway, and this is extra, not trying to keep you. I just want you to know, I want the show better too. It's just how long it takes when you're living with this. Just the Palisades. This is what it's like to do a show like mine inside the Palisades. So there you go. Thanks.